wall exploded before I even gave the signal to attack. I am Vorak, first Talon of the Obsidian Brood, and I had crossed 2 burning skies to reach this outpost. My claws were already curled for the strike when the outer gate buckled under my weight, metal screaming as it folded like paper. Behind me, 11 of my kin dropped through the smoke, wings beating hard enough to shake dust from the rooftops. We had not come to talk. We had come to end something. 3 months earlier, raiders had struck our nesting cliffs in the dead of night. They took our eggs. They killed my sister Iliath while she stood guard over the young ones she had sworn to protect. I heard her final cry through the bond we shared since hatching, and then I heard nothing at all. Since that night, sleep had not come easy, and neither had mercy. Every trail we followed led here, to this small human outpost called Ashford Hollow, built on the edge of a dead volcanic field. Ships had been seen leaving this place around the time of the raid. Human ships. That was enough for me. Grief does not wait for full proof. It only waits for a target. We tore through the compound in seconds, alarms shrieking across the metal walls, red lights spinning through the dark. I heard voices, sharp with panic, calling out names I did not understand. Doors slammed. Somewhere below, heavy machines powered down all at once, as if the whole outpost had gone still to hold its breath. I did not care about their fear. I wanted answers, and I wanted them now. I smashed through the roof of the largest building, expecting weapons, expecting soldiers, expecting anything that could explain the deaths of my kin. Instead, I found warmth. Soft light glowed from rows of curved metal cradles, each one humming gently, each one holding something small and scaled, curled up and breathing slow, sleepy breaths. Hatchlings. Our hatchlings. The very eggs stolen from our cliffs, now resting safe in careful rows, their shells cleared away and stacked neatly on a shelf nearby, like something to be treasured rather than discarded. I stood there for a moment, my mind refusing to accept what my eyes were showing me. Then a voice cut through my confusion, calm but firm. Do not come any closer. You will bring the ceiling down on them. A woman stood between me and the cradles. She could not have been taller than my smallest claw, yet she did not step back, did not run, did not even raise her hands in surrender. Her eyes held steady on mine, even as my shadow swallowed the whole room. Her name, I would later learn, was Claire Winslow, a doctor who had lived at this outpost for 6 years, long before any of this happened. Move aside, I growled, low enough to rattle the glass in the cradles. These are obsidian eggs, stolen from my home. Where are the ones responsible? Where is the one who killed my sister? They are not here, Claire said. The people who took these eggs were smugglers, off-world traders. They came through this outpost trying to sell what they had stolen. We did not buy hatchlings that night, First Talon. We paid to save their lives instead, and sent the traders away with nothing but our warning never to return. I wanted to believe none of it. Grief had already written the story in my mind, and I did not want a new ending forced upon me. Your ships were seen near our cliffs the night of the attack, I said. Not ours, Claire answered. The traders used old colony transports, painted to look like ours from a distance. Your scouts saw metal and assumed the worst. I understand why. I would have assumed the same in your place. Behind her, one of the hatchlings stirred, letting out a thin, worried sound in its sleep. Without even glancing back, Claire reached out and rested 2 fingers gently against the glass, until the small creature settled again. It was such a small movement, so natural, so practiced, that it told me more than any words could. No one forced to guard something learns its every worry like that. Only someone who cares. I looked past her fully now, taking in every detail I had missed in my rage. Warming lamps tuned to match the exact heat of a mother's underbelly. Feeding troughs shaped with a careful 3-part curve, built for jaws no human should have known how to measure. A symbol above the door, hand-drawn, clearly copied from our oldest texts, meant to call for the blessing of the first mothers over a nest. Someone here had studied our ways with real care, not with fear, not with duty alone, but with something closer to love. You did all this, I said slowly, for creatures whose kin would have burned this place down without a second thought. I did this because they were dying and I could stop it, Claire said. What happens next was never something I controlled. I made my choice already. This one is yours. Behind me, my talons crowded through the broken roof, wings still spread wide, ready to finish what my fury had started. I felt the old, familiar pull toward destruction, the promise that burning this place down would finally close the wound my sister's death had torn open. It would have been so much easier than standing there, staring at proof that the very people I had come to destroy were the reason any of my kin still had a heartbeat. I chose the harder path. Stand down, I told my talons. The order surprised them almost as much as it surprised me. We were wrong about this place. It took 4 more days before I finally understood the whole truth. Records pulled from damaged systems. Trade logs recovered from a wrecked transport left behind by the fleeing smugglers. A written account from Claire herself, describing the night the traders arrived with stolen eggs, demanding payment, and her flat refusal to let harm come to a single one of them, even at great risk to herself and her people. On the 5th morning, I stood before that same nursery again, this time in daylight, wings folded low in the old posture reserved for debts too great to repay with gold alone. The Obsidian Brood owes you more than we can ever return, I told her. From this day, this outpost flies under our wing, whether the wider stars accept it or not. Claire only laughed softly, tired but genuine. I just wanted them to live, she said. If you want to thank me properly, name one of them something that does not sound like a threat. I chose the smallest hatchling and named her Iliath, after my sister. It felt like the only true way to honor her memory, not through fire, but through a small life saved by hands I had once meant to destroy. Word of what happened at Ashford Hollow spread quickly across both our worlds. Some among my kind still whispered that trusting humans was foolish, that one act of kindness did not erase generations of conflict between our people. I understood their doubt. I had carried the same doubt myself, right up until the moment grief nearly blinded me into destroying the very ones who deserved protection instead. But word also reached other outposts, other colonies, other nests. Slowly, cautiously, more meetings followed. Some ended in silence and mistrust. Others ended the way ours had, with wings folded low, and debt spoken aloud. Claire remained at Ashford Hollow, tending to the growing hatchlings with the same quiet care she had shown from the very first night. I visited often, watching Iliath grow stronger, watching her chase after Claire's footsteps with clumsy, eager steps, long before her wings were strong enough to lift her from the ground. One evening, as the volcanic winds howled outside the compound walls, Claire asked me a question I had not expected. Do you still believe we are your enemy? I thought carefully before answering. I believed it once. Grief made the answer simple for me. But simple answers are rarely true ones. And now? Now I believe there are enemies among your people, just as there are enemies among mine. But an enemy is not a whole people. It is only a choice, made by someone willing to hurt others for their own gain. Claire nodded slowly, watching Iliath tumble over a low ridge of rock nearby, wings flapping uselessly as she tried, again and again, to take flight. She will fly one day, Claire said. She will, I agreed. And when she does, she will remember who protected her before she ever could protect herself. Months passed. The bond between Ashford Hollow and the Obsidian Brood grew stronger with each passing season. Trade began between our people, simple at first. Food, tools, medicine. But soon deepening into something greater. Human engineers helped strengthen the nesting cliffs against future storms. My kin, in turn, guarded human transport routes through skies too dangerous for their small ships to cross alone. Not everyone welcomed this change. One night, a group of raiders, emboldened by rumors of weakening defenses along the border, attempted to strike a joint supply route between our two peoples. I was among those who answered the call for help, alongside a small team of human pilots led by a young woman named Grace Ellery, someone Claire had trained herself in the ways of tending to injured hatchlings during emergencies. The raiders had not expected resistance from both sides at once. Our combined response caught them completely off guard, and within a short, tense clash, they were driven back across the border, their ships damaged beyond any hope of continuing their assault. No lives were lost that night, though the danger had been very real, and every heartbeat had counted. Afterward, Grace approached me, her hands still trembling slightly from the encounter. I always heard stories about your kind, she said. I never thought I would fly beside one. I never thought I would trust one of yours enough to fly beside them either, I answered honestly. She smiled, exhausted but proud. Maybe that is how trust actually starts, not with grand promises, but with small moments like this one. I found myself agreeing with her more than I expected to. As seasons turned, Iliath grew from a clumsy hatchling into a strong, capable young dragon, her scales darkening into the same deep obsidian shade as her namesake. The day she finally took to the sky, wings catching the wind with confident, powerful strokes, Claire stood below, shielding her eyes against the sun, watching with quiet pride. She looks just like you described her, Claire said. She looks better, I answered. She carries no grief with her, only strength. That evening, as the sun dipped low over the volcanic ridges, I found myself standing beside Claire once more, watching the young ones play together across the open field, Human children laughing alongside hatchlings barely taller than their shoulders, neither side showing the slightest hint of fear toward the other. "You once told me this was my choice to make," I said. "I think I finally understand what you meant." "And what is that?" Claire asked. "Trust is never given all at once. It is built, one honest moment at a time, the same way you built this nursery, one careful choice after another, long before any of us ever arrived to test it." Claire looked at me for a long moment, then smiled softly. "Maybe that is the real reason you never burned this place down." I considered her words carefully before answering. "Perhaps you are right. Perhaps revenge is easy to imagine, but very hard to carry through once you finally see the truth standing in front of you." The wind shifted gently across the ridge, carrying with it the distant calls of hatchlings learning to fly, human laughter mixing freely with the deep, low hum of contented dragons resting nearby. It was a sound unlike anything my kind had known before, unlike anything I had ever imagined possible on the night I first broke through that outpost wall, ready to burn everything I saw. I had come seeking revenge that night. Instead, I found the one thing revenge could never have given me. I found trust, built slowly, carefully, by a single person willing to protect lives that were never even her own to protect. And in the end, that single choice changed everything that followed, for my people, for hers, and for every small life caught safely between us.